I think I saved it from crashing, but welcome to Sonoma, California, where round number 17 of the Darkmatter Designs Cup Series is live on Full Throttle TV for the third road course of the season and the last race before the All-Star event next week at Texas. I'm joined in the booth tonight by a special guest, Nick DeCesare, going to be in here. Nick, welcome to the booth and welcome to the Full Throttle Sim Racing Darkmatter Designs Cup Series. You have a lot of road experience. What are you kind of expecting here tonight at this really tough and challenging Sonoma Raceway?
Thanks, Jared. I'm glad to be here. I got my shades on. I'm ready to see what these guys can do. It's a tough track. I know grip is at a premium, and I see some people having trouble in qualifying right now, actually, but it should be exciting, that's for sure.
Yeah, and let's look at what's going on the track. And coming into this race here tonight, let's take a look at our race info first and foremost. Right now, 123-degree track temp. Nick was not kidding when he said that some guys are going to be slipping around. 123 track temp. That's one of our highest, if not the highest we've seen all season. 75-degree air temp. So very pleasant if you're up in the stands. Not so pleasant if you're in the car. We're going to be running the what is the original Sonoma Raceway, what NASCAR runs nowadays, and also ran up until 1997. The long course, which is 2.53 miles. here at Sonoma. They cut out that short chute, which I kind of miss, but it is what it is. That's the modernization, I guess you could say. But looking at our point standings coming into this race, it's been tight at the top. Bobby Terrell has an 8-point lead over Casey McMullen. And then Troy Torgerson, Richie Coy, Dale Nearad, your top 5. All those guys except Casey McMullen with a win. Bernard Person, Jeff Winter, Lane Allen, Jason Spear, and Randy McCanning, your top 10. And then again, we had that top 25. And we have 38 drivers here tonight at Sonoma, Nick. And that's a lot of drivers for a road course, especially one as narrow as this.
Yeah, I think traffic is going to be a big issue. There was a decent spread of the field in practice, so you might be reaching guys maybe before the first pit stop, and that's going to be, you're going to have to figure out where you can pass and how careful you have to be around those guys.
Yeah, exactly right. And we take a look at our lap times real quick here, and Jeff Chandler, who won at the Circuit of the Americas 2 weeks ago to grab his first road course win here at FDSR, his second win of the season, eking out the pole over Tony Solari by 0.2 of a second, so very quick between those two drivers there. Richie Coy third. Right now, Bobby Terrell, Mike Watts, your top 5. We do have some drivers still on the track right now. Randy McCanny, who won at Daytona earlier this year, just put his lap down. He's going to go 12th quick. And Nick, it looks like most of these drivers are electing just to do the one lap.
Yeah, I think the tires after one lap, especially with that track temp, they're going to be giving up speed. You'd have to really make a big mistake on your first lap to improve on your second. Lane
Allen up to 4th on the board here. Got some other drivers out here. Rory Collins making his road course debut. He has not ran a road course yet this year, and he is right now listed as 26th on the table. John Held out there right now just completed his lap, but may have had an off course as none of those laps recorded on my side. TJ Bartel, not known for his road course, but he had a great solid run at Circuit of the Americas, and right now he is sitting there on his flying lap right now as he goes through the final 2 turns here. And Nick, this is going to be a very, very difficult place on the track. This is your one passing zone here at Sonoma, is going into this hairpin.
Yeah, and it's such a long lap. You're going to be itching to get by somebody by this point if you're stuck behind them, and it's so inviting to just throw the car in there with basically reckless abandon, but that is a slow turn. You got to get down to like 30-40 miles an hour in that turn.
Yeah, it's very slow. We see Brody Hanna out here going through the S's, and Nick, you look at this track, and we'll have an opportunity here in the warm-up session to kind of take a better look at this track, but this is a very demanding track. You were I think you shipped about 16 times per lap here, 15 times per lap. You don't have much of a straightaway. How much is that going to impact like the physicalness? I mean, yes, this is a sim, yes, it's virtual, but there's still some physicality to a race like this.
Especially if you got, some of those fancy wheels, they're really putting some resistance on you, hitting those curbs hard, getting your braking points right. It's so easy to miss by just that little amount. And if you get caught into what used to be grass, but is sand basically now, you're going straight to the wall.
Looks like Brody Hanna's lap did not count, so he's going to have to do another one. Looks like everybody else has pretty much done their laps here as we got about a minute and a half left in qualifying, and really it's really no surprise your top 10 here. Jeff Winter putting a good lap in. He is not known for road course racing, and actually put a really good time down. But Nick, I have to say, just a secondary thing, I really wish that Sonoma would be run back in April or May when it's nice and green. When you watch this track, it's just like we're racing in the middle of a desert out here.
I've seen, they always post those pictures on Facebook or Twitter from Sonoma Raceway, and man, it looks gorgeous when it's all green, but with the weather in California, it's just not feasible to keep it that way,
Exactly right. As we are completing our qualifying, watching Brody Hanna, him and TJ Bartel, the only 2 drivers on the track. TJ Bartel did not improve his time. Actually, he did improve his time, did not improve his position, but you look at the spread right now, it's about 7 seconds from Jeff Chandler, this posted time, all the way down to Jeff Bratton. Now, Brody Hanna actually has put some green times in here. Green means that means he's gone fastest so far for him. Oh, he got loose off turn 12 here. Going to hit the brakes hard into turn 13 because that car almost got around on. He's got to actually turn a lap because right now I guess he had an off track or something on his first lap. So this lap's got to count for him.
Yeah, it's so tough. You know, he was fast in practice, and you'd hate to see him start in the back and have to make all those places back up on the start of the race.
And I don't think he's going to get a lap in. Yeah, it looks like
I think,
Brody
yeah, I think,
Hanna.
oh, sorry. I think he scraped the wall right before the line, trying to get every little bit of speed he could.
I think you might be right. I couldn't tell from the angle we had there, but it looked like he might have gotten the wall. And Brody Hanna's going to have to start out back here tonight at Sears. It's not Sears Point anymore. It's Sonoma Raceway. Showing my age a little bit here as qualifying is about to wrap up here at Sonoma as we're going to head to the warm-up session. Nick, you look at these times in qualifying compared to practice. We got it's pretty good spread. I mean, Tony Solari and Jeff Chandler are kind of on one tier, and then everybody else in the top 10 is kind of on a second tier. Looks to maybe be a good race for third place and maybe for the win tonight.
Yeah, we're going to see a good race up front, and then I hate to harp on Brody, but he's got a lot of work to do, so we're going to be seeing him, what he can do to get through maybe the slower guys in the back of the pack and see how far he can get up back to the front where really he belongs, you know?
Exactly right. We're going to take a very brief commercial break, and then we'll be right back here with your national anthem, and then we'll see if we can get call down to one of the drivers and talk to them before the race. But we'll be right back after this commercial break. Back live here at Sonoma Raceway as warm-up is underway right now. And we are going to see if we can get a word in with one of these drivers out here that's had some experience winning on the road courses. Going to call down to Randy McCanny. Randy McCanny, this is Full Throttle TV up in the booth. You got a copy of us?
I definitely do.
Randy, how's it going, man? We saw you earlier this year, second race of the year, winning a Daytona road course by, I think it was 35 seconds. Just put on a clinic there. And had a good run at Circuit of the Americas, I believe. But Sonoma, it's a little bit of a different beast compared to those two tracks, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. This is an entirely different animal.
So going into this race, you had some good runs lately. You're back in the top 10 in points. What are you kind of looking for to come out of here, Sonoma? You're locked into the All-Star race, so you got that part done. Is there anything you're trying to glean or learn here? I mean, it's a pretty unique road course, and I don't know if you can really apply that moving forward, but I'm sure you're learning something out there.
Yeah, definitely learning patience. With this track, you got to be very patient with every corner. It's very enticing to use a lot of throttle, but it'll burn your rear tires up quick. So a lot of patience, and passing is going to be at a premium.
Tell us about how I mean, we all know it's like a virtual game and everything like that, or a sim. But tell us how physical it is in the car. I ran some laps there, and I was sweating after the end of it.
Oh, it's definitely a challenge. Just the switching through the S's, the left, the right, the car's bouncing, constantly counter steering. So that's just your arm work, and then your throttle and brake is nonstop. It's both pedals are always moving.
All right, Randy. Nick, you got any questions for Randy?
Just want to wish him good luck. And what do you think your strategy is going to be starting 12th there? You got a couple guys in front of you. You think you can get?
I'm hopeful. It's pretty much going to be patience. Just try not to make mistakes. If somebody else makes a mistake, capitalize on it, but just see how the pit stops play out and kind of run my own race.
Yeah, I hear that. Got to outlast them so you can make some spots up there.
All right,
Absolutely.
Randy. We appreciate your time, Randy. Sorry. I'll let you have the last word, man, if you have any shout-outs or anybody you want to give out to there.
Oh, I got to thank you guys for the broadcast. Can't wait to watch it after every race. You guys do a great job, so really looking forward to that. And Blackwater, Darkmatter Designs for sponsoring the series. Really appreciate everything they do.
All right, Randy. Good luck tonight, and hopefully we'll see you back in victory lane. Nick, that was Randy McCanny there, and we saw him win earlier this year at Daytona, but as he said, Sonoma and Daytona Road Course, not a lot of similarities between those two tracks.
No, other than you turn left and right, that's about it. I mean, Daytona with the super speedway, you got a lot of high speeds. This is, I would say, more finesse it's going to take from these drivers.
We are about to get everybody gridded up here, and they're going to have a full pace lap. So while those guys get that going, we're going to get the national anthem here, performed by Alyssa Shipman.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, we're back live here at Sonoma Raceway as the drivers have just fired off and are getting going. Let's take a look at our starting grid. On pole is Jeff Chandler with RPM Motorsports. Alongside him, Tony Solari with his best qualification of the season. Row number 2 is Richie Coy and Lane Allen for Steve Berry Racing. Row number 3 is Bobby Terrell and Andrew Poliski. Row number 4 is Mike Watts, a sports car driver, making another strong appearance on road courses here today with Jeff Winter alongside. And rounding out your top 10, Nick, is going to be Troy Torgerson and Brian Helm.
All right, and on row 6 there we got Donnie Staubitz, Randy McCanny, and just behind them, Bill Benedict and my friend Joe Flanagan, sports car ace. 15th, we got Kevin Rupert, and right next to him, Wayne Grassi. Casey McMullen and Bernard Person are in the row behind them. And we got Kenneth Schultz and Rachel Hunt rounding out the top 20.
And look at the rest of the field. Gary Griffith, Tracy Powers in row 11. Row 12 will be Ralph Nolan and Brian Bliss. Row 13, Geringer and Collins. 14, Vrooman and Shoemaker. Torrey and Spear in row 15 with TJ Bartell, Josh Mayu, Gil Gock, Jeff Bratton, Chad Lang, Brody Hanna, Dale Nearett, and John Hill lining it up for the rest of the field. But Brian Bliss and James Torrey electing to start from the pits. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on, as those guys not going to be starting out on the track as the pace car is about to make the turn down pit road.
Such a long pace lap. The anticipation for these guys on the front row has got to be very high.
Chandler and Solari will lead him down. Building. And the green flag is out here at the Sonoma 200K. Jeff Chandler with a good jump. Solari's going to be side by side with Terrell heading up the hill as they're all single or double file through the front straightaway. Solari gets a good jump through the uphill, and we are looking good going into turn number 1.
Yeah, Solari got a little bit of a slow start, but once he started grabbing gears, he actually pulled away from the second row there behind him.
Everybody just gingerly getting through turn 1 and turn 2. Everybody just doing a very good job through those sections of the track, all the way back through Gil Gock and John Held at the very end. Brian Bliss leaving pit road along with James Torrey right now. So everybody doing a good job. Jeff Winter did not have a good start. I think he's already lost several positions. I did not see what happened to Jeff Winter or Richie Coy, but both those drivers lost a ton of time.
I didn't see any smoke back there. Maybe they just got off course. I'm not sure.
We got somebody. We do have information that something happened on the first lap here. We're going to take a look as soon as we're able to. But right now it's Chandler and Solari. Terrell, Lane Allen, Mike Watts already up into 5th place as they're going to work their way through the S's. And Brody Hanna's off track. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's still on track. Oh, and Jeff Bratton has spun it, coming out of turn number 7 there. So very difficult first lap. And I think Richie Coy and Jeff Winter got together. Let's see if we can get a quick replay on what happened to the 19 and the 30. So here we go.
I don't know. Maybe looks like maybe he just spun up the tires a little bit there. I don't know. It didn't look like anyone was that close to him.
This is something on the pace lap. Richie Coy has an issue on the pace lap, and the car, he drops all the way to the back of the pack. So that's what happened with Richie Coy. Jeff Winter, on the other hand, something similar happened to him on there. So very, very strange for both those drivers as they drop back to the back of the pack. I don't know if they had penalties or not.
Actually, sorry, Jared. Sorry to interrupt. I see that they were given EOLs before the start.
There you go. So penalties is why they dropped back so far. But right now, Jeff Chandler opening up a little bit of a gap on Tony Solari. It is 1.4 seconds over the 74. Terrell hanging tough in 3rd. And you look further back through the pack, still getting some battling going on, Nick. And these guys, 50 laps around Sonoma. We already talked to Randy McCanny. That's going to be a difficult physical race tonight.
It's a long, long time. You know, you got the addition of the inner loop or the carousel, whatever you want to call it, adds a lot of time to the lap. So that's a lot of time to be turning left and right, sawing at the wheel of these cars. These guys are going to be sweating.
And the other thing too is this track, you can't really get full throttle. There's not any straightaways really on this track except going outside the hairpin or coming into the hairpin as we look at Wayne Grossi. So there's a lot of footwork that has to be done as well on this track. We look at looking back, Ralph Nolan is our big gainer of the race so far, up 4 positions from 23rd. He's just ahead of Rachel Hunt. And look at Roy Collins, also up 4 positions. So both those drivers moving forward. TJ Bartel actually is our big gainer, up 5 spots in that number 88. Jason Stephen Vrooman spins out right in front of everybody there.
Wow, that's tight with all the people behind him. They did a good job to avoid him there.
And he's going to wait and going to drop all the way to the back, unfortunately. But solid job by Stephen Vrooman to... and Jason Spear gets loose behind him. My goodness, that car came right around, and he does a good job holding on to it. Already, Nick, we're seeing some guys with some handling.
It's so easy to make a mistake. I mean, I can't blame these guys. Looks like he just got a little bit into the dirt there, and that's all it takes, you know?
Looking back through the pack here at some of these other drivers. We already talked about TJ Bartelli, just went off course. Josh Mayhew followed him in there. So drivers gaining positions and then losing positions. John Held lost some positions on the start, and he's got those back. He's up 6 positions. Dale Nearad and Brody Hanna, who did not get a good qualifying lap in, both of those drivers up 7 spots, along with Jeff Winter, who was penalized, and Richie Coy, who was penalized. Both of those drivers moving forward as well. But Nick, so we're 3 laps into this race. It feels like we've already been racing for an hour, but just the nature of this track. What kind of strategy do you employ at this point in time? Do you relax a little bit? Do you push a little bit hard? When do you get in the rhythm at a road course like this? We know, I mean, you've had experience on road courses, maybe not in these cars, but in other cars.
For me, if you can get a little gap in front and behind, honestly, you can hit your own marks and not worry about trying to match the person in front of you or even defending from the person behind you. And that'll, even though it seems like you're going slower, but it's almost like you're going slower to be faster. You're smoother. It's easier on the tires. Maybe you save a little bit of gas so you can stretch it a little bit farther, or maybe you use up, you're going to push all the time, use up your tires, use up your gas, and try to go for an undercut, get some fresh tires before everybody else gains some spots that way.
Jeff Chandler, Tony Solari actually gaining a significant amount of time in that last little bit there. Let's bring up our sectors here between Solari and Jeff Chandler here, and you'll see Sector 1, let's bring that up a little bit better here. So Sector 1, Solari gains 0.6 of a second. He gets slideways coming on the straightaway there. You don't want to do that too many times, Nick. Get that car those tires really heated up.
Yeah, once you get those tires, heat cycled into like that, you gotta almost give them a couple turns to cool back down before you push again, and otherwise it's gonna be a lot easier to make a big mistake, something that's gonna amplify, a little slide here and there.
Seeing all these drivers, I mean, this is a beautiful shot. You can see the entire course behind it. Everybody working their way through the track, doing a great job. Matt Geringer off track in that number 11 machine. And he has spun it around backwards. Looks like Donnie Staubitz stops and lets him go, but that's going to cost all these drivers a lot of time there in that number 11 Ford. Let's see if we can see what happened to Geringer. Donnie Staubitz might have been involved as well. So we're coming through the carousel, which, Nick, you talked about how difficult that is. And he's coming up on that straightaway, and he just gets out. Oh, Donnie Staubitz is actually the one around, and Matt tries to avoid him and does a good job, and then he hits the fence. My goodness, that was close.
Yeah, and Donnie waited there for him, almost to give him the spot, for making him mess up, I guess. That's a classy move there.
The 99, who finished second last year at this track, not having the race he's probably wanting here tonight, as he is down in 29th position. But Matt Geringer doing a good job. But back up front, Solari starting to reel Jeff Chandler in again, and he is there this time. He's gained almost 4 tenths in Sector 1, 2 tenths in Sector 2, and he didn't spin the tires going on the straightaway this time.
Yeah, if I was Chandler, I'd be hoping I'm saving my tires right now to let Tony get back close to me, because if I'm pushing as hard as I can and Tony's catching me, that's bad news,
Yeah, that's going to be something to look, but they are leaving Bobby Terrell, who has no road course slouch, in the dust. Lane Allen back there in fourth. He had a great battle at Circuit of the Americas with Jeff Chandler, and tonight just running in fourth position. And you look at some of these other drivers, Mike Watts, he's got Andrew Poliski behind him, and Poliski's been a revelation on the road courses, new to the series this year, new to FTSR this year, and he has been extremely good when given the opportunity, and he is up to 6th place. Looking at Mike Watts, these guys have pulled ahead of Troy Torgerson, who's having, I think, probably his best race on a road course. I think Troy will tell you he doesn't like road courses, but he's having a good run right now, just ahead of Brian Helm and Randy McCanny. Joe Flanagan has popped his nose into the top 10 in that number 53 machine as well.
Yeah, just to go back to Andrew there, when I was racing in the truck at COTA, we had a battle for, I don't know, it must have been 15 laps of him just trying to hound me into making a mistake until we pitted, and he's very good. It's something to look out for.
Mike Watts goes off track in front of Poliski, so put Andrew Poliski into 5th position. And Nick, you bring up a great point. I mean, you got to race with a lot of these drivers, if not most of these drivers at Circuit of the Americas, so you kind of have an idea of what kind of anticipation or driving tactics they have. And Poliski is one of those drivers that he might not be the fastest driver out here, but he is very consistent and can definitely make you make a mistake if you're not careful.
Yeah, I couldn't really get away with him. I think I got him a little bit of a gap with pit strategy, and that's something these guys around him and everybody on the track really are going to have to look at. See if they're going to stop early or go long, try and cut out a whole stop, make an extra stop for some extra speed on the tires, There's a lot of options for these guys.
Brian Bliss has come in pit road in that number 18 machine. Started from pit road, hasn't really got the feel on that track. right now. But Tony Solari, last couple laps, that car has gone away from him just a little bit, maybe used up his stuff trying to chase down Jeff Chandler, as that gap is now up to 3 seconds for the number 31. Solari in second, Terrell in third, and then Allen, Polisky, Watts, Helm, McCanny, Torgerson, and Flanagan all right there as well. And Nick, you look at some of these other drivers back through here. Richie Coy has come through the field. He had to go all the way to the back. He has moved his way up to 19th position in that number 19 machine. So he is on the move, and he is all over the back of Rachel Hunt right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's going for a move right now into turn 11, I believe. That's a big move, but that's where you got to do him. You know, you got to pick him off when you get to him, and that's a great spot to get another spot.
He just did his best lap of the race last time by. And, wow, he was pretty close to that wall, and he actually improved, so he's continuing to put down some very good laps. Actually, he put down the second best lap of the race, or second best lap that time on that lap. So Richie Coy moving forward in that number 19 machine. Other drivers moving forward, Brody Hanna up 11 spots. He's in kind of a gaggle back here with Jeff Winter and Chad Lang. And Rory Collins also just ahead of this group too. Nick, on a track like this where you don't have a lot of passing opportunities, you're kind of stuck behind somebody. How do you just mind your P's and Q's and try to pick them off? And how do you remain patient?
I mean, if you want to try to force a pass in, you're going to be taking a huge risk. You know, unless it's at the hairpin, you almost cruise behind them, try and match their points, and if you're a little bit faster, you can save a little bit of your tires behind them, cruising around until you get to a big braking point. You got to set up out of turn number 11 into the hairpin, or turn number 10 into the hairpin, to be able to make a good move that's not too much of a dive bomb.
Yeah, there's just a couple. We talked about it. You know, turn 7's a good passing opportunity. Turn 11 down there at the hairpin, that's a good passing opportunity. Turn 3 sort of is a good passing opportunity. But really after that, you're pretty much stuck behind him the entire lap as we look at Gil Gach up 11 spots from his start. And Richie Coy, we leave him for a second. He's already picked up 2 spots on this lap. Going for 3. He's not going to get Casey Mullen just yet. So he is up to 16th. He is not going to be knocking on the door of the top 10 very shortly with only 8 laps in the book.
Yeah, if he can keep this kind of speed up, he's going to be making maybe the people in the top 5 nervous at this pace. We'll have to see if he's using up his stuff early to try and make as many spots as he can and just take a pit stop whenever he can get to it.
And the pit strategy, it's definitely going to be a one-stopper. They can do 33 laps on fuel, I believe is what the count is. So these guys are working, and Richie Coy is going to get around Casey McMullen down into 4. I believe they call that 4 now. It used to be 3A, I think, but or 4A, but I think they call it just 4 now. And Coy up to 15th position, and he's about 11 seconds behind Bernard Persson, so he's going to have to set sail now at this point.
That's a big move into that turn. It's not usually a great passing spot, but he made it look easy, honestly.
Look at some of these other drivers back here, still gaggling up. I love saying that, but McMullen, Kenneth Schultz, Gary Griffith, Rachel Hunt, all kind of nose to tail in this little group here. That is 16th through 19th position, with Ralph Nolan a few car lengths behind. We check back in on some of these other battles. Brody Hanna still just kind of riding behind Chad Lang, but now Gil Gach has caught up to the back of Ralph Nolan. So we got a kind of some 4-car packs kind of forming up behind different drivers, Nick, and now it's really going to be about patience when you catch these guys that are slower in front of you. I just don't know how you can manage the patience game.
It's tough. I mean, when you got, so you just mentioned those 4 guys right there in a line, you make a big move on one guy. When you get to the turn, there's a guy right in front of you. There's nowhere for you to really even slot in. So you got to be very, very, very careful to not accidentally ruin somebody else's day when you weren't even trying to pass them.
Roy Collins loses out there in the hairpin. He's going to drop 2 spots as Winter and Gach both get around him. So Collins still up 3 positions from where he started, so the 62 machine still moving forward. And now Chad Lang and Brody Hanna are now going to be next up, with Rob Shoemaker also catching up there. Looking back up front, Solari, the gap has gone down to 4 seconds now, so maybe he's saving some stuff. Maybe he thinks he might be able to stretch out that fuel a little bit differently, but Solari dropping off from Jeff Chandler. But at the same time, Solari's also pulling ahead of Bobby Terrell and Lane Allen. So these top 2 drivers are kind of in their own game right now.
It looks like they're playing a little bit of a cat and mouse on the timesheets with each other.
Lap times are very similar, and there's quite a bit of fall off, so we're already down 2 seconds a lap from what we started at. As you see, Terrell and Lane Allen, they're kind of by themselves. Mike Watts has gotten back around Andrew Poliski, and Brian Helm and Randy McKinney are chasing these guys down. So the battles, it's kind of like an accordion here tonight, Nick. It seems like, you know, these guys spread out and then they condense. They spread out and then they condense. As we talk about Tony Solari, did Jeff Chandler go off track? Solari's made up a ton of time. It's down to 1 second again.
Wow, if he made a mistake, he's got to keep those. He's got to keep those to a minimum because Solari's no slouch. I know I race with him in the sports car series, and he's a hot shoe on these road courses.
Jeff Winter has gone off in the S's, the 30 car. No damage, I don't think. I can't tell yet, but I think he just got on the got out there. Yeah, that car looks okay. Might have just gotten out there a little bit too wide. As we check back in on the lead, it's 2 seconds now. So Jeff Chandler did a 143.2. Solari did a 140.5. So something definitely happened for Chandler. Made a mistake or something. Didn't go off course though. No off tracks for Chandler, but something definitely happened for Chandler.
Yeah, there's a couple places where you can maybe, you know, go long in a braking zone and not end up off track. And if you're going to make a mistake, that's the spots to be able to do it. You don't want to end up, you know, in the grass in the S's where you can't really control the car.
You see these guys still working back there. Let's bring up the track map, kind of give you guys at home a little bit of an indication of what's going on. And you look over this track. I mean, it is basically from beginning to end. 36th place right now is about 6 seconds from being lapped. That's Jason Spear, and there's he is only 6 seconds behind 35th place James Torrey. So there is cars here in a little bit all over this track already here 11 laps into the race.
And that's why it's tough for Jeff Chandler, where he's making, you know, maybe a little mistake here and there. It shortens up his lead. So now when he gets to these lap cars, how much time can he afford to wait behind them, if any?
And that's going to be a good question, because I'm sure a lot of these guys toward the back, they're out here getting points. Jason Spear, James Torrey, they're just getting points, I'm sure. And they'll get out of the way. But some of these guys are going to be battling for position that are up in this little group here. And they're not going to pull over and lose time to the guy they're battling for these race leaders. And Jeff Chandler, like we said before, is only about 5 seconds from starting lapping cars here.
Yeah, I'm sure these guys are going to be as courteous as they can be. I just saw Jeff get a little loose out of the carousel. They're going to be as courteous as can be, but you know, if you catch them, say, in the S's or something, there's only so much you can do to get out of the way.
Number 31 car continuing to work here. 2 second lead. That's pretty much what it's been for a little bit in this race, although it did get up as high as about 5 seconds. But Solari has kind of inched and chipped his way back into this thing in that number 74 car, having a, I believe, and opportunity knocking for an all-star and maybe a playoff berth with a victory. Solari could be that guy you can circle as a potential victor on a road course. Looking back further, Lane Allen, Bobby Terrell, and Mike Watts have kind of separated themselves out from Andrew Poliski, who is getting caught by Brian Helm and Randy McKinney, who we talked to earlier in our pre-race, Nick. And McKinney moving up 4 spots from the start, and he's just kind of methodically pacing his way forward as he's going to work on Brian Helm here.
It's just what he said he was going to do. You know, that's what he told us, and it's good to stick to your plan. If you stay on plan, it makes it seem like you're in control, even though maybe you're not.
That's a really good point there, as Rob Shoemaker has gone off track in turn number 7. That car's got some damage. He's trying to get it going. He's going to get it going right in front of Dale Nearad. So Rob Shoemaker had an excursion through turn 7 and got a little damage on that number 66, but he is good to go now. Jeff Winter and Dale Nearad going to pass him on the track, though.
Yeah, he did a good job staying out of the way there. The damage doesn't look too bad. It shouldn't affect him, I don't think, too much.
Looking at the rest of these guys through here, Bill Benedict up 4 spots, but Richie Coy has started to put some pressure on these guys. He is down 6 seconds now is the gap. That gap was at one point in time 12 seconds. So Richie Coy continuing to work his way forward to catching the 14th place of Bernard Person.
Yeah, he was only a few tenths faster last lap, but, you know, they add up every time.
look at past Bill Benedict, and then just got passed by Bill Benedict. And Nick, I just find it interesting that we find battles all over this track. We're not leaving the lead. I mean, Tony's fine, but we got Bernard Persson chasing down Bill Benedict, who's chasing down Wayne Grossi, and who's chasing down Kevin Rupert.
Yeah, and every time, you know, those guys get to, it's going to bring Richie Coy back up into the mix. It's going to make it that much easier for him to catch back up.
Gehringer has hit pit road. Don't know if that's a scheduled stop or not. We saw him get off track a couple times as Jason Spear also going to go a lap down. Bill Benedict drives it in to turn 13 on Wayne Grossi, but just gets a poor exit, and Grossi's going to hold on to this position for now, heading up into turn number 1.
Yeah, it's really tough to get the power down.
Looking out the back, Nick, you don't really notice it driving it, but and you do. That's not fair. You do notice it, but the elevation changes this track. It's some of the biggest in the United States, let alone on the NASCAR schedule, which I think it has the most rapid elevation changes on the NASCAR schedule. How does that impact, when you're out there driving and trying to set the car up for something as daunting as this?
I mean, the only other track that could really even hope to compare would be like Coda turn 1, and going into turn 2, I think it is, at the top of the hill, you can, because you're going uphill, you have the compression of the car to give you that little bit more grip to brake a little bit later than you think you might be able to.
Yeah, and Wayne Grossi locks it up into turn 7, and nobody hits him, and he's gonna, now somebody does, and he got the curb, and Bernard Persson.
Yeah, he center punched him there. He's trying not to spin again. That's too bad.
Heavy damage on the number 8. I don't think that's going to affect him, but that is something you have to watch out for at Sonoma. With a hot track like this, if you have too much tape and you get front end damage, all of a sudden you start overheating just because it's so hot out here. And Bernard Person's getting loose and hard into the wall, and Bernard Persson must have more damage than we thought, and he is going to have to take it to the garage. That is a tough break.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Richie Coy, though, going to benefit, going to move up into 14th and chase down Grossi. And, man, that is a tough break for Bernard Persson, who is the defending champion, hasn't had a season to remember just yet, but, was looking for a strong points night, and right now not looking too good. Back up front, though, Solari has gotten around some lap traffic here, but now the lap traffic is coming thick and fast as James Torrey is kind of held up Jeff Chandler here and allowed Solari to get back within a second.
Yeah, that's tough. You catch him in the wrong spot. Looked like he caught him maybe in the carousel there. It's tough to get by there, and then he gets Tony Solari gets to go right by him at the end of a straightaway. It's stuff like that that's going to make a huge difference.
Ooh, Solari got off the track a little bit, had to slow down because of a slowdown penalty, but he is going to get going. That's going to cost him a ton of time now.
Yeah, and he has to pass the lap car again, so that's tough. That's a tough break too.
And Torrey's going to move out of the way heading into turn number 11. I thought he was, maybe not.
Yeah, I think maybe Tony's a little gun shy there. Yeah.
So Torrey moves out of the way. Solari loses a ton of time. That was that was about a 4-second loss on that lap, or that little section alone. Looking back further, Terrell has gotten. We got an accident with Wayne Grossi again in turn number 7. We got some more drivers. Casey McMullen involved in something here. I don't know what happened here. Let's take a look at a replay here. We got several things going on the track.
Yeah, they all picked the same time to start having incidents, looks like.
Casey McMullen coming on the straightaway here. I guess you could call it the back straightaway outside the carousel, heading into turn 7 here. He gets loose under braking. Might have had too much rear bias in there. Slides it around and then gets it going, and might have got a little contact from Donnie Staubitz there, but that's not too bad. Everybody's good and moving forward now.
It's tough. He's got to fight back against get those spots back now, and now his tires are hot from locking up. It's going to be an uphill climb for him for a little bit.
And Wayne Grossi, similar thing happened there for turn 7 for him. So that's what's going on there. Tony Solari, though, is putting down some good laps and trying to catch back up to Jeff Chandler. But my goodness, that slowdown penalty really cost him some time. 4 seconds is what it cost him there. Nick, you think about, you lost some time there. Do you think about your pit strategy, maybe doing an undercut, trying to jump out in front of Chandler here on a pit stop here.
He could. I know that with this fall off, the undercut is going to be crazy powerful, but you have to pay the price eventually. So if Jeff goes long, sure, Tony will get out to a huge lead, but at the end of the race, Tony's going to have nothing left in his tires, and Jeff will have the huge advantage there.
That's something we'll have to keep an eye on. Solari's still getting some time back. It's he has increased his gap back to 7 seconds over Bobby Terrell, and he's decreased his gap to Jeff Chandler under 5 seconds now, as Terrell is working on some lap traffic, and Nick, we talked about it. Lap traffic on a road course is difficult. Lap traffic on Sonoma is so difficult because it's so narrow, no passing zones, and John Held going off the track in front of Bobby Terrell, and Terrell does get around him. I think he was trying to get out of the way and nearly got right in the way there.
It's tough when you're not expecting somebody to get out of the way and they let off the gas or even hit the brakes in front of you. You almost have to try and predict what's going on in somebody else's mind.
Which is really hard to do. I can't even predict what's going on in my mind.
Yeah, I certainly can't do that. Like you said, I can barely see what's going on in my own head.
And looking at that, that's going to condense everything up. Mike Watt's going to catch up to the back of Lane Allen now as Wayne Grossi goes off the track again in turn 7. So he is having a rough time through that little section of track.
Yeah, he's really got to back it up there and try and get some clean laps, cool down the tires, then he can start pushing it again. He's got to just take a minute, relax, stop the bleeding.
Exactly. But as you talked about it, once you get heat in those tires, Nick, it's the car, it just starts changing and it becomes harder and harder to drive, and it makes it easier to kind of light those tires up. How do you recover from something like that?
It's as a race car driver, it's very counterintuitive. You have to slow down, be smooth as you possibly can be, and maybe you give up some time. But if you get them back cooled down, you can pick them back up to temp where you want them, and you'll have more grip than you would have if you just keep punishing them.
Coy has moved around Grossi into 13th. He is now 2 seconds behind Bill Benedict, and just ahead of them, Kevin Rupert right on the back of the top 10. But Joe Flanagan holding on to the top 10. Jason Spear off track again, heading up the hill, and that car looks like he is actually leaving pit road. So I think he got spun coming off pit road, but he is good to go. If you look through the field right now, McCanny on the back of Brian Helm. That's kind of our one battle. Josh Mayu, somebody we haven't talked about tonight, has gone off course, and that's in turn 7. And again, Nick, he just got loose under braking, locked up the rears.
Yeah, it's, the tires are wearing out. The track temp has cooled down a little bit, so they're on lap 17 now. Those tires have got to be screaming. They want to be changed. I mean, the drivers are probably screaming too because they want new tires too.
Mayu's going to come right out in front of Tony Solari here, and just behind TJ Bartels, and Mayu's going to let Solari go here into turn 13. It's actually, he is going to head to pit road, so Mayu is in here on lap number 17, or 16 for him. So, yeah, that number 51, they wanted some tires, and they're going to get it.
And who can blame them? I'd want tires too if I was driving right now.
Now, I want some tires, maybe a masseuse working on my shoulder, as that gap has come down to under 4 seconds now between Chandler and Solari. Solari continuing to just put good lap after good lap, and you just wonder, without that slowdown penalty, if Solari would be leading this race right now.
It's certainly possible. I know if I was in Jeff's shoes and I got handed a big lead again, I would definitely be saving my stuff, trying to keep those tires as long as I can. This way he can be protected against the undercut. He won't be so slow if Tony or Bobby or one of those guys in the top 5 pits early. He'll still have some tires to maybe keep pace and then have the tire advantage at the end.
Well, Nick, I don't know about you, but when I'm driving these stock cars around a road course, I find that it's best for me to just drive at my normal pace, because the second I start slowing down is the second that, yeah, you lose some time slowing down off. It just seems like I make more mistakes when I slow down. I don't know if that's the case for you.
Yeah, I know that's my teammate Matt Kuntz in the Sports Car Series. He will drive at 100% every lap, and for exactly that reason. For me, I can take it a little bit easy if I'm trying to save fuel, tires, and last season it paid off at Coda. I ended up saving enough fuel to eliminate a whole pit stop. So sometimes that can work to your advantage, but yeah, you can make more mistakes if you're not doing your normal braking points, turn-in points, all that kind of stuff.
Solari, we watching Solari through this section. Chandler's actually turning some really slow laps. His lap time actually would be about 11th quickest. So we got somebody off. That's Josh Mayu. He just came out of pits. Let's see if we can get a look in on him. And he is coming through the carousel. Cold tires, got that thing looped around. But Mayu in that 51, getting it going. Jason Spears going to get around him, and John Held there as well. So we got 29 drivers on the lead lap right now, it looks like. 27 as Vrooman now goes a lap down.
And I'm sure Josh felt like a hero on the new tires coming out of the pits. It's so hard to keep your head about you when you're driving on the old tires. You switch to new tires, it feels like you can go 20 seconds faster a lap. It looks like maybe he just pushed a little bit too much there.
Got it going again, and we bring up that track map again. There is no clean spots. Right now it looks like the exit of the S's there is the only place where there's not a lot of traffic. That's 25th, 26th, and 27th, and there's a pretty good gap to 24th and a pretty good gap to 1st. So that's where you're finding your one spot on the track where there's nobody on. But otherwise, this whole track is consumed with drivers.
And I just want to point out Brody from the back of the grid up to 16th. That's great so far. He's almost mirroring Richie Coy there.
Yeah, that's
in the top 10.
You took the words right out of my mouth. He is going to work under Kenneth Schultz heading out of turn 4. He's going to get around him. So move Brody Hanna in that number 23 car up to 15th position. Coy is up to 12th. He has gotten around Bill Benedict, and he is 6 seconds behind Kevin Rupert. So those guys both moving forward there tonight and having a pretty good run from the back of the grid. And Brody Hanna is only about a second and a half from catching Wayne Grossi there.
Yeah, you can, in the in-car there, you could be playing the Jaws music for both of these guys. They're hunting for the top 10. And I don't want to jinx anybody, but looks like they have the speed for it.
Yeah, and you look at some of these guys in the top 10, I feel like they're kind of laying down a little bit, just kind of just getting in the middle rhythm of the race. Flanagan's been turning 143s for about 10 laps in a row now. Hasn't really pressed faster than that, hasn't really been slower than that. And but at the same time, when you're trying to gain some spots, like Coy is, who turned a 142 flat, which is the second quickest time on the track right now, I mean, you got an opportunity to gain some spots here. Go get it.
Yeah, they can he should be able to see those guys when, up ahead of him. He's got something to shoot for, he's got something to aim for. It's almost like a little bit of a motivator.
Tony Solari dropping back, so he is not getting through this lap traffic as good as Jeff Chandler is. He got held up there by Stephen Vrooman in the 00, just caught him in the wrong spot. James Torrey goes around. That is coming out of turn 4. He's stuck on the rumble strips. He's going to back it up out of the way here and try to get this thing going. Looks like he's got some space now, and the 2 car will get moving again here. So James Torrey comes out right in front of Wayne Grossi and Brody Hanna, as Brody Hanna's already caught Wayne Grossi.
Yeah, he must have saved a little bit, enough to be considerably faster than the guys in front of him right now.
Brody Hanna did a 143.7. Now some of that is dictated by lap traffic that he's been coming up on, and also the fact that he's on the back bumper of Wayne Grossi, so he's kind of dictated by the driver in front of him. But Brody Hanna really putting down some great lap times otherwise, and he is catching up to the number 7 of Wayne Grossi, and they are about 13 seconds behind Bill Benedict. So once he gets through Wayne Grossi, it's going to be quite a ways before we see that. And Joe Flanagan has decided to come in the pits from 10th place. He is the first of our leaders in, Nick.
This is a big move here. He's going for the undercut. I like it. I like pit strategy. It's my favorite part of racing. He's going to have to try and get as much lap time as he can and still save something at the end to defend against the guys who are going to pit. Even one lap after him, he's going to gain 4 or 5 seconds on them. With the new tires, it's going to be crazy.
This is we know that they can do about 30 to 35 laps on a tank of gas, but lap 20, that seems really early. Brody Hanna's crashed.
Oh no.
Or not. Maybe we got a false read there, but let's see what happened if there was anything.
And the car still looks clean. He looks okay.
So he's on the back of Wayne Grossi coming into turn 13. gets out there a little bit, and looks like he just gets under braking, heavy under braking. Actually, he just got down in there too deep and just kisses the tires, but actually didn't touch the tires, but overcooked it through there.
What a save for him, man! That could have been a disaster.
Dale Nearad had the same exact thing happen, and Rob Shoemaker, not Ralph Schumacher, gets around him.
Hey, if you look at Brody, he made that mistake. He got Wayne Grassi in the carousel the very next lap.
He gets it back, so Brody Hanna up to 13th position right now. And speaking of some changes, Joe Flanagan pitted 56 seconds on pit road, so a little bit slow for Flanagan, and he is down to 28, so we'll have to keep an eye on him to see what happens there as the race continues. Poliski has had something happen. And let's see what... He looks good now, but he has lost 2 positions on the track. Let's see if we can get a replay. So here we go, and same spot that Brody Hanna's in here. So we're going into turn 11. Oh, he gets loose gets loose in turn 10. He's got a lap car, Tracy Powers, and he just drives in too deep. It's the same situation as Brody Hanna. Not as bad, but he loses 2 spots in the process there as Helm and McCanny just undercut him.
Another good save, man. You don't want to get caught in those tires. They can do huge damage to your car. He overcooked it. I saw the tires lock up. That's going to hurt him a little bit, but he's still in good shape. He's still in the top 10, even when losing those 2 spots. He'll be all right.
And the other thing, too, Nick, is, you think about it, he did lock him up, but at the same time, this isn't too bad of a spot to lock him up because you get that benefit of having Brody Hanna's way off track in turn 4. He has locked him up, entering the carousel. He's going to come back on the track right behind Wayne Grossi. So all that time he picked up on Wayne Grossi, he's lost it all back again.
Another close one for him, man. It's those tires must be screaming for help. He's probably screaming for the crew chief to get him some new ones too.
Mike Watts has come in pit road at the same time. Richie Coy went off track, wasn't too bad, but he's going to lose some time there as he just got off track just a little bit coming off of turn 11. Ralph Nolan has gone off track as well. They're back a little bit further going into turn 4 as Nearad gets underneath of him. But now we have a top 5 driver in, Nick, and that's Mike Watts in that number 3 machine.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see. I'm gonna see if we can see what kind of lap times Joe is putting in with those fresh tires, and then we can almost try and predict what Mike Watts can do. See how far up he can move, and we'll see how long the guys in front of him will wait to pit for their own tires.
So Flanagan is coming through the carousel. This is going to be his first lap after the pits. So he hasn't turned a lap yet with the fresh tires. We got Kenneth Schultz in from 20th position on pit road. Jeff Winter is going to follow him in. So pit stop these drivers.
It's open, but we're not at lap. We're only on lap 22, so those guys are going to have to make a longer second stint. If people are having this much trouble now, it's going to be tough at the end of the race. I mean, these guys think they can do it. More power to them, but man, I do not want to be driving this car on lap 45, 48, around there. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, this is basically splitting the race in half. Coming in around 25. We got a couple more drivers. Roy Collins in pit road as well. Joe Flanagan. Let's check in on Joe now. So his lap time across the line is a 1:40.3, his best lap of the race. So there you go.
And if you compare that to Jeff, who's running a high 42, almost a 43, that's a good time too. Still, almost 3 seconds slower than a fresh tires.
Nearad goes off track. Now everybody's coming in. They must. Oh, Nearad's still off track in front of Joe Flanagan there, and Ralph Nolan in that Employernomics machine. And my goodness, Flanagan closed right up on the back. Nolan, I don't think, is expecting him there. He gets out of the way.
Yeah, with the fresh tires, he's gonna catch those guys on old tires so fast. They're gonna have to, I don't know, he's gonna have to call up ahead. Let the spotters know he's coming. Get out of the way.
Lane Allen in pit road. Richie Coy in pit road. Gary Griffith in pit road. So the window is open. Gil Gawk is in the fence. No, he's backwards in turn 11. So he has lost the hood. I think he hit one of the tires.
That's tough. grid is big for aerodynamics. I know it's not a huge aero track, but still important. It's definitely going to affect him a little bit.
Catching up to former teammate Wayne Grassi there, and looks like he gets in there. He locks. Oh my goodness! Locks up the rear brakes and smashes into that first set of tires there on the inside. He loops it back around to get it going, but that could be some heavy damage. And Tony Solari's in on the undercut.
Okay, here we go. He's putting Jeff on notice here.
So Tony Solari in the 74 machine, who's been second all race. That's going to turn. Bobby Terrell's going to follow him in. So Bobby Terrell also in. McCanny looks like he is going to stay out, but Solari is going to pit. And now, like you said, Nick, this could be it.
Yeah. So even if Jeff pits next lap, he's going to lose against maybe more. Tony was a little bit faster than Joe, so we can see maybe he could run a little bit faster first fast lap. And he was only like 5 seconds behind him, so that'll put him pretty close, almost right there.
I just want to point out, Brody Hand has been off the track, had some incidents here, but he just did his fastest lap of the race that last lap. So even though he's kind of gone off track and might have had some stuff on the tires, there's still some speed in that number 23 machine, as he is going to stay out again. So trying to maybe do the overcut here. Mike Watts just did the fastest race of the fastest lap of the race, a 1:39.5, and he was another driver that pitted.
If I'm Jeff, I gotta have my spotter crew chief. They gotta look at that time and they gotta say, "Come on in." He can't lose that much time to somebody who was in the top 5.
Solari is out. Now he is coming out in 5th place, so he didn't lose a lot of time there, but he's got to be careful on these these cold tires. Staubitz, what has happened to Donnie Staubitz here? Did he wreck on pit road?
I'm not sure. We got Jeff's coming in the lap after Tony, so.
All right, so we're looking at Donnie Staubitz real quick as Jeff Chandler heads into the pit road, and Donnie just fell asleep at the wheel. He just smashes right into the wall. And almost comes back up on the track in that little gap there. So I don't know if he wasn't just missing where he was going there. Probably messing with some buttons.
Yeah, it looks like maybe his GPS was set up wrong.
Chandler, McCanny, Poliski all in. Brian Helm in 4th place. He's going to come in. That is Tony Solari now, Nick. So Chandler is getting service right now. Solari is coming through the hairpin. Can Solari take over the lead of this race? Still in the pits for Chandler.
It's going to be close. It's going to be close, that's for sure. Yeah.
Chandler's coming out of pits right now. Here comes Solari up the hill. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and Chandler's going to hold on right now, but he lost a ton of time. 3 seconds, and he's got cold tires to contend with, while Solari just did that is not Solari. Lane Allen just did the best lap of the race at a 1:38.8. Well, Chandler's off track.
Oh, no.
In front of Tony Solari, Rob Shoemaker is going to let Solari go, and that gap is down to 1 second. Those cold tires not working for the 31.
Yeah, now they're cold, dirty tires. It's double whammy. It's not what you want to see coming out of the pits.
0.8 of a second, the closest it's been since the beginning of the race. Solari's got to put in a good lap now.
Jeff looks like he's really having a tough time getting those tires to come alive. He went a little bit wide in the carousel. Not too bad. Looks like he got a good exit. That's going to be great. Keep out of the dive bomb zone.
And that was actually a really good sector too, as Chandler gets that car going again and has opened up the gap by about half a second more than it was. Solari just a little bit, just didn't have quite enough. And you look at the pit times, very similar. I mean, you're talking about 5/10 difference between Chandler and Solari on the pit time. Solari was just a little bit slower in the actual pits than Chandler, and that's what the difference on the track is right now.
Yeah, the outlap I think is going to be the difference. Looks like Jeff had except for that one little mistake, had a real burner for the outlap.
1.6 seconds. We saw as the run went on, Solari was able to get it. If he didn't have that time penalty, you kind of wonder where that would have been at, as it's 1.5 seconds. He is great through turn 1, though. This first sector, I mean, he gains a ton of time. There's 2 drivers battling in front of Chandler. Chandler's going to have to wait on these guys as Spear and Collins were battling for position there.
Yeah, it's definitely not over yet. Tony's he only has 1 lap older tires, but 1 lap is a lot here. It's a long lap, and the tires take a lot of punishment, especially when it's this hot. So he's going to have to try and equalize the tire life here and then still attack forward.
Richie Coy just did the fastest lap of the race, a 138 point. We lost at 138.7, so that is the fastest lap so far. The only driver in the 138. Said Lane Allen was in the 138s earlier. He was at 139.1. So Richie Coy finding some speed, but he's 35 seconds back. I don't think he's going to have time to get there. Lane Allen goes off track in third place. Oh, he's way off track. Mike Watts is off track. Third and fourth are off track coming out of the carousel.
And I saw Tony get a little bit out of shape in the carousel too. I wonder what's going on over there. Some dirt on the track maybe? I'm not sure.
Allen is going to come out and hold off Bobby Terrell, but my goodness, that could have been bad. Watts was there as well, and now third. Solari got loose as well, but and there's a whole kinds of stuff going on back here as Nearad gets off the track in front of Solari. TJ Bartel now has is in front of Jeff.
Yeah, Lane, he touched the tires a little bit, but he was going pretty slow. It doesn't look like it messed the car up too bad. He should be okay, but now he's locked in a battle with those two guys behind him. It's going to be speed. He could maybe relax. Now he's got to put the helmet on tight. He's got a race to do.
Bill Benedict and Rachel Hunt have not pitted. Bill Benedict is in the pits now. So these guys running the overcut, if you will, as Jeff Chandler eking out that lead just a little bit. Brody Hanna goes off track just a tad, came back on track. Don't think there was too much there for him. Did get a slowdown penalty, though.
Yeah, he's got some, at least it's showing for me, some damage on the left side. I don't think that was there before. I don't know if he hit something.
Not seeing too much there on our screen. Yeah, he does have a little bit of damage. Don't know when exactly he got that, but Brody Hanna going now, but he definitely got a slowdown penalty there for just a second. Right now, the battle. Allen just hit the throttle and pulled away. 2-second gap on that last lap. He pulled up on, on Bobby Terrell. So really found the gas, and now Mike Watts is all over the back of Terrell.
Yeah, Lane's trying to build back the little bit of space he had, trying to atone for his sins almost. I'm sure he's got to prove he's still faster than those guys behind him. Really crush their spirits, give them no hope. I love it.
Torgerson having a good night in 6th place. He has just gotten around Poliski, but these guys gotta find something because Richie Coy is chasing them down. He's down to 6 seconds behind these guys. He is going to be on the fringe of a top 5 finish if he keeps this pace up. Nick, that would be a huge night for him if he's able to do that.
Extremely impressive to pass all of those cars, especially on this track. On any track, it would be impressive, but this track, it's something really to be celebrated. I hope he does it at the expense of the guys in front of him. It's too good of a story.
There you go. I've had some experiences coming from the back at a road course. It's not that fun, but it's doable. But Sonoma is a different beast than the one I had to do it at. And I commend Richie for having a great race as he is up to 8th place. Back up front, that gap is stabilized at about 2.5 seconds between Chandler and Solari. Matching lap times, I mean, they're both doing 139, so the only two drivers in the 139s right now.
Yeah, they were both in the 139s. Tony 39.7 though, and it's a quick lap, but it's just not enough. And Jeff has those 1 lap fresher tires, and that might be the difference there.
Yeah, the undercut really needed to have paid off for Tony. He needed to get out in front of Chandler, but Chandler just had a really good drive through the pit lane.
Yeah, if he could have got out in front, make him work to pass, maybe he could have knocked the newness off of Jeff tires, really equalized them up, and then, I always like defending. It's a lot easier than trying to catch somebody and set him up and pass him. So, maybe the undercut didn't work. He's got to regroup, figure out a way to get to him even, let alone pass him.
I don't know what happened to Randy McCanny, but he might have had a penalty, but he's missing his hood, but we're not getting indications that he had a wreck or anything. But McCanny's on pit road, and that's a tough night for him. He is shown in 28th position, dropping out of the top 10. That's going to put Kevin Rupert into the top 10, and he is safely there, 16 seconds ahead of Bill Benedict and about 6 seconds behind Brian Helm there in the number 1 machine.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a slow lap there, but he's doing okay.
Poliski gets around Troy Torgerson going into the hairpin there. Samu Poliski back to 6th place. Mike Watts getting loose. That is coming through turn number 1. He almost lost that car. Oh, he's up over the curbs. That's not going to be good. He holds on to it, though.
That was a nice save.
Mike Watts continuing to work there in the top 5. Had a good run at Circuit of the Americas. Lane Allen working through lap traffic, but Bobby Terrell starting to reel him in. Back up front, Tony Solari has cut that lead down again to 2 seconds, and there are 3 lap drivers in battle with, and they are 19th, 18th, and 17th. So now we're starting to work into some faster drivers here.
Yeah, if I'm Tony, I'm thinking this has got to be the place. And if I'm Tony, I'm also hoping he catches them in a terrible spot, holds them up as much as possible. I need all the help I can get.
These 2 drivers putting on a clinic. 19 seconds is the difference. Or 19 drivers, I apologize, between those drivers. Nice. Staubitz spins out in front of the race leader, so that's 1 driver down and away for Jeff Chandler.
That's not what Tony wanted to see, I don't think.
Gil Gach and Kenneth Schultz are the next 2. And then we have a little bit of a gap up to Chad Lang, who is about 6 seconds ahead of this group.
Tony is pushing. I'm watching his car squirming on every exit of the corner, every braking zone. It's moving back and forth. He's pushing hard.
Jumping on board with the 74. We haven't gone on board with him yet. Looking in that cockpit, and he's caught up. He sees the 31 now. Whoa, he's loose.
Yeah, I don't think he's leaving much on the table right now. I think he sees those lap cars too, and he thinks this might be his shot.
And one of those lap cars, Gil Gach, gets out of the way. And you can listen right there. Just can't quite get in the throttle right now, coming up on that back straightaway. I don't know if that's the back straightaway, but we're going to call it the back straightaway. Gil Gach gets out of the way of Tony Solari, so nice move there.
Yeah, that's the end of the drag strip there, right? Yeah.
Part of it is, yeah. Shoemaker off track, McCanny off track. So we got some drivers off track as we continue to watch. Oh, and Jeff Chandler goes wide.
Cut up there, yeah. He got cut up by the lap car there.
And that's going to let Tony Solari pounce. I'm very lucky that he didn't go any wider, because he could have gotten a cut course like Tony did earlier.
And he's pretty much there now. Big lunge in the braking zone. That was beautiful.
What a move. And he has been good in Sector 1. Chandler a little bit loose coming off the corner. He has got the pressure on now.
And this is, in the first stint, this is kind of what Tony did too. He fell back a little bit, and then he charged in the middle of the stint.
Good run up the hill. Chandler just a little bit slower through that. Solari actually did not get as much time as he had been through there, but this is the closest they've been all race since, I guess, the beginning of the race.
Yeah, it was down to 6/10 at the line. Tony a little bit wide there on the exit. Man, they're racing so hard.
Tony just losing just a little bit of time. And that's the other thing, too, is, Ralph Nolan is into the fence. Check in on that real quick here. And that is in turn number 10 there, and he hits the tire barrier, but that car looks good, so he's going to keep it rolling.
And Tony loose out of the carousel. Sorry, I can't leave this battle. It's too good.
Oh, no, it's awesome battling, but Nick, what I was about to say there is Tony just struggles through Sector 2. That's where Jeff Chandler is gaining his time. Sector 1 and Sector 3 seems really good for Tony, but Sector 2 is he is getting eaten up.
Yeah, from what I can see, he's having a really tough time in the carousel, and Jeff, I don't know if it's the setup or the slightly newer tires, he can just really get on the gas a lot quicker than Tony can.
19 to go, so still plenty of time. We're not at Martinsville. 19 to go is quite a race still on our hands here. Tracy Power is the next driver to go. He's actually going to go 2 laps down here, and Jeff Chandler, he's going to get out of Jeff Chandler's way very quickly. So a lot of lap traffic getting out of the way pretty easily, but eventually they're going to get into some guys that are battling for positions. Gary Griffith is next in 15th. Just up the road is Brody Hanna and Jeff Winter. So there's some battling still going on. And Nick, I wanted to check in on Joe Flanagan. He was the first pitter of the lead group, and he actually lost a net of 2 positions on that undercut.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. Maybe he had an off track or an incident or a slow outlap. I'm not sure what happened there. It should have gained him spots, at least in the short term, you'd think.
Yeah, it was. Pit lane time was the slowest of the entire race, about 60 seconds slower than anybody else. And we are getting word that he had a too fast entering penalty. That's what happened with Joe Flanagan.
Oh, that's a killer. I have huge problems with speeding on pit lane, and it's a crushing when you work all so hard all race, and you, I don't want to say blow it because he's still in reach of the top 10, but throwing all that hard work away, it's a heartbreak.
Solari really lighting up those rear tires coming out of the carousel, and that car just not handling the way he wants it to right now, as Chandler kind of driving off in the distance with 18 laps to go now. That gap has gone up an entire second on that last lap.
He's trying his hardest, but those rear tires, they're not going to take that for the rest of the race, so he's kind of got to be careful. I see him, and I can hear him lighten up. I can see the marks. They're not going to take that punishment for 18 more laps, 17 more laps. It's not going to work.
So Nick, in that situation when you're pursuing it, I mean, sometimes it's hard, especially Tony hasn't won a race this year. Really looking for a good solid run. I mean, he's going to get that if he keeps on the track, as these guys are 20 seconds ahead of their next competitors. But at the same time, I mean, how do you temper that? It just looks like Tony might have gotten a little bit overzealous, got out of his comfort zone of running his race, and tried to start racing Jeff Chandler.
It's what's the Charlie Daniels song? You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. I don't want to say you should fold them, but with a 20-second lead on third, you're still looking at a top 2. I don't want to say don't race, but you want to make it to the end, and he just locked up again. He's really punishing the tires, and I admire it for him for it. But I think Jeff's too fast right now. He's got to cool the tires down. Maybe he can, get him cool, get himself cool, and maybe make a run at him later in the race when Jeff's tires are maybe giving up a little bit.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. 17 laps to go. Chandler continuing to lead. And we heard from last week, or last time he raced at Circuit of the Americas, talked to him, and Oscar is the dog, just in case anybody at home was wondering what the driver profile pick is. That's his dog, Oscar, a rescue dog. Really cool there for Jeff Chandler. I had to know who it was. I didn't know. But
hey, he's leading the race. That dog's got to be quick.
Exactly. 3-second gap right now. We check back in on that third place battle. Lane Allen still 3 seconds ahead of Bobby Terrell. But Terrell has kind of stabilized a little bit, and then you have Mike Watts there in 5th position. Good run for Mike, having a nice night in the top 5. Poliski a little bit further back in that 96 car, and Richie Coy has just gotten around Troy Torgerson to move Coy up into 7th place.
Yeah, he can see Andrew. He's not that far up the road, and he's got 15 laps now to try and get that top 5. I think he can do it. What about you, Jared?
He started 3rd, and he's 7th, so he's only lost a net of 4 positions, even though which is unfair because he had to come through the back of the pack. I think he could get to the top 5. Now, he's only 8 seconds behind Mike Watts. Poliski, I think he can definitely get there. I think Mike Watts is going to be a little bit more of a difficult situation, but he is putting down the 2nd or 3rd best lap times behind. It's basically Chandler, Solari, and then Coy every lap right now. And again, actually, Coy went just a click slower than Chandler that lap.
And Watts is off track. That's the opening Richie needed there.
Watts is still off track. He is way, way off track, actually. Poliski has gone by. Coy has gone by, so Coy's into 6th. Poliski's got to be looking in that mirror.
Yeah, and we already locked in your bet on the top 5, so if he makes it, that's a loss for you, right?
He's going to get the top 5? I think that's a win for me, right?
I think I took the over there. How does betting work?
The over. Okay, so the over, you think he's going to get better than 5th position?
Well, hey, if they keep...
Yeah, Terrell, that's 11 seconds in 16 laps. I mean, it's not impossible. Coy did the best lap that last time, but my goodness, that would be a tough ask as Coy continued to work forward. That would be I think he'd be pretty happy with the top 5 finish after having to go from the back of the pack. Rob Shoemaker off the track hard into the fence, and that car has gone to the pit road. That was out of turn number 11 there. It's a tough break for the 66. 3.5 seconds between Chandler and Solari. And really our only other battle on the track right now. Mike Watts has got Troy Torgerson all over the back of Torgerson. Hard on the brakes into turn 13. And, and somebody's off. Is that Coy? That is Coy. He spins it off of the... He spins it exiting the last turn.
Oh, man. We cursed him, I think.
I hope he doesn't go back and watch it because we just cost him that. He was ahead of Poliski.
Oh man, I'm his biggest fan. I think I cursed him. That's my fault, Richie. I'm gonna take the blame for that one.
And that is tough break. Looking at some other battles here, I mean, he is coming out right in front of Brian Helm. He's going to have to slow that thing down. He really spun out those tires, and that car probably not going to handle the way he wants it to handle now. He really burned him up.
Yeah, it looks like he's having a little bit of a tough time.
Helm is going to get around him here.
Well, if he keeps his head on straight there, cools him down for a few laps, try and make a run back towards the front, we'll see what he can get. If people get racing, they'll make mistakes just like he did. So
Mike Watts working on Poliski, but now he's got Troy Torgerson on his back bumper. So Torgerson getting back in this battle. That's a battle for 6th position. Collins is going to get out of the way. Well, no.
Sort of out of the way.
I thought he was slowing down, but Collins actually is going to hold up Torgerson through the S's here, which, I mean, he doesn't have to pull over by any means. He is the last car, or the first car 1 lap down. So, I mean, he's got some stuff to race for here if a random caution came out for some reason.
Yeah, he has every right to be there, just like the rest of them.
Brody Hanna up to 14th position, just ahead of him. Jeff Winter, another driver that had to come from the back, he is in 13th position. He is about 6 seconds behind Joe Flanagan. Coy has gotten back around Brian Helm, and Bill Benedict kind of in no man's land in 11th, and Kevin Rupert in no man's land in 10th. These guys pretty much locked into their positions unless something happens to them or in front of them.
All right, so Richie's 12 seconds back now. I'm going to stop talking about him after this so I don't curse him again, but let's see if you can see how far you can get back towards that top 5.
14 laps to go, so it's ticking down. Checking in our battle up front, this gap has come back down to 2.87 seconds. It seems like Tony Solari, it seems like that car isn't as fast maybe out of the gate as Jeff Chandler, but it seems to be a little bit more consistent as the run goes on.
Yeah, he was definitely pushed. I mean, we saw him pushing so hard, and it's tough to be smooth. It's tough to be consistent when you're doing, to the limit in every corner. So hopefully it looks like he's got it much more under control right now, and we'll see if he can make a lunge towards Jeff here, make him sweat a little bit.
So now the gap is Solari is still picking up time. Both of those drivers in the 141s now. Coy the only driver in the 140s, which is impressive. But
I think he might be driving a little bit angry right now.
Yeah, I think if I make a mistake like that, I definitely drive angry. Now Jeff Chandler, Nick, in front of him is Tony Solari's teammate Brody Hanna, and I'm not going to say that Brody's going to block or do anything nefarious, but as a teammate to the guy that's running in second place, I mean, you're not going to just pull over for the leader, right?
I sure wouldn't. Listen, I want my team to win every race, at least as every race we can. And if I can cost them a few tenths, maybe that's a difference at the end. Brody
Hanna doing a good job. I mean, he's not a slouch. I mean, he's turning the same kind of lap times as our leaders in the 141s or just a little bit slower in the low 142s. So, I mean, he's also trying to catch Jeff Winter, which is going through the S's, which is Jeff Chandler's teammate. So, kind of interesting to see. We have Jeff Winter ahead of Brody Hanna, who is Jeff Chandler's teammate, and Tony Solari behind Jeff Chandler, who is Brody Hanna's teammate. So, there you go.
And you can see the differences in the cars there as they go through the S's. Brody was a little bit slower in the first part, but he pulled away in the second part.
Tony Solari just on the top of our camera angle there coming into turn 13. Hanna a little bit wide and gets a little wheel spin, but actually gets a good jump out of the exit. And he is he's not pulling over. He's going to make Jeff Chandler pass him, which is, I mean, as we said before, I mean, he's 14th place. I mean, there's also some pride about completing all the laps. At least for me personally, I don't like to go a lap down.
Hey, it's, and you can show the leader that, hey, I'm fast too. Just because you're at first doesn't mean I can't be fast.
Chandler can't get around him. Solari loses a little bit of time through turn 1, which has been his bread and butter, and that's where he needed to be fast. But he's still just picking up enough time, and Chandler's going to get underneath Brody Hanna into turn 4. So now it's that battle's over with, and Solari does gain some time, but I don't think it was enough time.
Well, he did what he could. It was nothing excessive. That's racing.
Yeah, exactly. And Yeah, and Brody's not going to sit out there and wreck him or something. And Chandler had the position, and that was it. And now Chandler's got Steven Vrooman ahead of him. And this is where the difference is, Nick. You look at our sector times here. We bring that up again, and it's just sector 2 is where, or sorry, sector 3, I should say, out of 4. There's 4 sectors here, not 3 sectors. So sector 3 is where Tony Solari is losing all that time.
Yeah, and we saw him when we were on board. The carousel, he's having trouble getting that power down, and I think you can still see it. He's improved, I think, everywhere else, but I don't know if it's the setup there. Maybe they didn't get it exactly the way he wanted for the carousel.
He gained 7 tenths in sector 4, 6 tenths in sector 2, about the same in sector 1, and loses 3 tenths in sector 3. So that's where we're at right now. And then we go across sector 5 here. Chandler going to go across the line here, 24 seconds through that. Solari loses 2 tenths. So sector 3 and 5. Now 5, Solari did have Vrooman to contend with there, which held him up just a little bit as we were at 11 to go.
Yeah, and so when you're making, I know you have a lot of experience making the setup, so, is there compromise there where you can build your setup to be better in certain sectors, and maybe you have to give up time in the sectors that are a different kind of part of the track?
Well, the carousel requires a very different driving. You head up on a hill and then you drop down that hill. So if you don't hit that thing just right, he's actually pretty good through carousel. So sector 2 is actually turns 3, 4, and 5. So it's not the carousel. So Tony Solari is actually not too bad in this carousel section here. He lost 3 tenths there, but he's actually been pretty good there. So it's actually the first set of S's where he's struggling, Nick. So 3, 4, and 5 heading into the carousel. So I can't think of any setup compromises through that section. But you do have to be on your P's and Q's, and it's very easy to overdrive that section, and you can lose time if you do.
Yeah, it looks like he's struggling with some rear grip, the drive off. I watched the Cup Series yesterday, and they were all complaining about the same thing, so.
Now we got Jeff Winter, who's going to pull very quickly out of the way. Oh, Jeff Chandler gets loose out of turn 13. Holds on to it. I thought Jeff Winter was going to pull out, but maybe he thought Chandler was going to be there, so he's back on the gas. And through this last sector, Tony Solari gains an entire second through that sector.
That's one little tiny mistake is enough to give up huge amounts of time here. Jeff, even though he's been in the lead for most of the race at this point, basically all of it, all it takes is one little tiny mess up, and he could be on the back foot.
That sector 1 ends right there at that turn, Nick. So we're trying to get our bearings on these sector times here. Here's sector 2, so he's going through this group, and sector 2 ends right at that hill. So that's Tony Solari gains 3 tenths through that sector. That's the best he's done through that entire section this race.
Yeah, maybe he found some speed to make up for where he's losing time elsewhere on the track. That'd be great, for us as fans.
Sector 3, it's about even through there. So 6 thousandths of a second to Chandler through sector 3, which ends right there at the beginning of turn 7. And then we go through the S's here, and sector 4 will end right at the S's, and then sector 5 would be from that point on to the start-finish line. So let's see how we do through the S's here. Chandler's going to go through this sector loop right now. Solari down to 2.5, and now he's got his teammate Jeff Winter there, kind of might slow him up a little bit, and they're even through that sector as well.
Yeah, turnabout is fair play. He had Brody to help him out. Now he's got Jeff's teammate maybe to hurt him.
Through the last sector, this is when Tony gained a second through this sector because Chandler got a little bit loose off. And sector 5, the time is going to be coming across the line 3 tenths to Jeff Chandler. So Jeff Chandler picked it up through that section, and Solari back to 2.5 second difference.
Looks like they're pretty even in most of the sectors, and then they each get one where they gain huge time on each other.
3 seconds, the difference right now. Ooh, Chandler a little bit loose there off the top of the hill. Poliski has gotten around Watts, hit Poliski up into the top 5 again. Torgerson has crashed. Torgerson into the wall in front of Richie Coy there. coming into turn 11. He's going to get out of the way, so Coy is going to get that position back into 7th place.
For him there.
Don't know how much damage Torgerson got on that number 98 machine, but he came off turn number 11 and then into those tires there right before pit road, and going to lose some time to Richie Coy, who moves back to 7th place.
Yeah, his car looks okay. It doesn't look like he hit anything. You know, the tires are going to be a little bit hot, but he should be all right.
Richie about 6 seconds behind right now as Mike Watts goes underneath Chad Lang. 16 drivers on the lead lap right now. 13 drivers on the lead lap. Apologies again. 12 drivers on the lead lap. Jeff Winter has gone a lap down, and Solari has gotten around him actually pretty quick. Didn't lose a lot of time there getting around him.
Yeah, we got Joe Flanagan trying to hold on there in the last spot on the lead lap right now.
John Held, Jeff Chandler did catch John Held at a bad spot there, and he is going to get out, gain some time through very easy on John Held. So now that gap is down to 2.2 seconds.
Yeah, looks like lap traffic is really becoming a problem. You know, he's trying to lap people close to the top 10. Those guys are no slouches. They're going to be faster. They don't want to go a lap down at the end of this race. I wouldn't, that's for sure.
Dale Nearad gets out of the way of both the leaders here, so that's not going to influence anything there. Joe Flanagan is coming into the carousel right now. Jeff Chandler is going up on the top of the hill, so Flanagan's the next driver, and that's an association. So there is a little bit there again, another kind of teammate to play for there.
Yeah, there's a lot of teammates connections going on.
8 laps to go. This race is flying by. We've only been racing about an hour here at Sonoma, and not a timed race, so the quicker they get it done, the quicker the race is. And right now, it is Jeff Chandler and Tony Solari. They've been basically 3 seconds difference all race long. Can Tony Solari do something? Joe Flanagan goes off track through the S's, but gets it going again. No slowdown there. But Chandler's in the back mirror, so now it's going to be crucial to see how Chandler is going to get through these next 3 lap traffic drivers. That's Gary Griffith, Flanagan, and Jason Spear, all up here in this little group here.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to where he catches them, and then how nice do they want to be, you know?
7 to go here at Sonoma. Jeff Chandler already in the All-Star. Tony Solari would love to get these points are going to be huge for him regardless. Second place could catapult him into the top 25 here tonight, which would be massive. Jeff Chandler missing every other race. He also needs to be in the top 25 as he's going to catch some of this lap traffic in kind of a bad spot. Jason Spear does get out of the way, but now he's got Gary Griffith and Joe Flanagan here he's going to have to contend with.
Yeah, he might get him on the end of the drag strip there. It might not be too bad for him.
Brody Hanna has come in the pits. I don't see that he hit. Oh, he went off track. Let's see what happened to Brody Hanna. So he's coming up turn 1, up the hill, and locks it down.
I think his engine blew going across the start-finish line there.
Yeah, he is out of power. No power in the 23 car. Maybe put a little tape on that thing at that pit stop. I just wonder if he did.
Or maybe that little bit of damage could have affected it too.
That's tough. Brody Hanna was looking for a solid points night. He said, he won 25 himself, has that win. So if he moves in the top 25, that puts him in the playoff contention there. And Chandler all over the back of Gary Griffith, heading into the hairpin here. Griffith, Chandler does get around him.
Yeah, and Joe, he's not really catching Joe Flanagan in front of him.
6 to go. Joe Flanagan, the next driver, the last driver on the lead lap. So 12 drivers on. She gets it going again through the S's. Not really too many other battles on the track. Poliski's got, Mike Watts has got Richie Coy all over the back of him now. Coy is bouncing over the curbs through the S's. He is throwing that thing through the S's.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit upset about that tiny mistake he made. Put him back another, those 3 positions that he had already made. Now he's got to try and make them again. I'm sure he's going to push all out to try and get at maybe.
Somebody's off. It's Rachel Hunt. Is that Rachel Hunt down there? It is. It is Rachel Hunt off there in turn 13, hairpin. I think it's turn 12. I can never get the turns situated here, but not going to cause any issues to Coy. But Coy is all over the back. That's our one battle on the track, as the interval has gone up to 3 seconds between Solari and Chandler, as Flanagan gets out of the way of Chandler somewhat quick. Not super quick, but Tony's in the ground. Oh gosh, Tony's wrecked.
Oh no.
He's up the hill. He has dropped to 4th place. In the carousel, he is gone south for Tony Solari.
Oh, that's such a tough break for him.
Let's see what happened to Tony. He's coming through, having a nice little, go at it. And he's coming up the hill.
Look, yeah, he got a little bit loose, and he had to correct to save it, and that sent him into the grass, and he couldn't stop from there.
All off the grass, and he gets himself on the other side of the tire barrier, and which means he had to back up to get going again.
Yeah, that's just... I mean, he's sitting there bleeding time. I know he can feel it. That's so frustrating.
About 5 seconds in 5 laps to get back to Bobby Terrell to get back on the podium. But
He's been quick. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. He's been quick. I mean, hopefully he can recover mentally, and it doesn't look like the car's hurt, so we'll see what he can do.
But that effectively is going to end the race for the victory. Unless Jeff Chandler has a similar incident lead on Lane Allen right now.
And you can almost hear the sigh of relief from the Jeff Chandler camp there. He knows he just got to keep it on the track, and he's got it made now.
Richie Coy, at the same time all that was going on, gets around Mike Watts to put Coy back up into the 6th position, and he is about 4.5 behind Andrew Poliski.
Yeah, and even making it past that last lap, he was over half a second faster than Andrew, so the fight may be on there.
Getting down to the business end of the race, and if you're just now joining us, massive incident for Tony Solari. Goes off in the carousel. No real damage, but lost a ton of time. Lost over 20 seconds there, and Solari going to drop off the podium into 4th place. Terrell's going to move ahead of him, and that gap, I think those tires are cooked, because that gap is continuing to just go down as Solari is losing time to even Terrell now at this point.
Yeah, the slot tires, and then the mental game. You make a mistake like that, you're gonna back down everywhere around the track. It's tough to go forward after that.
And now we have 3 seconds to Andrew Poliski. He is continuing to put down the best lap times on the track. Actually, Lane Allen did the best lap that time. Kenneth Schultz gets out of the way of Richie Coy. So Coy is only 3 seconds behind Poliski.
You might win that bet yet.
Looking at some other drivers here. Well, and Bobby Terrell, did something happen to Bobby Terrell here? He is losing a ton of time there. He's just got a little bit slower through that turn number 1 there, and now Tony Solari's within a little bit of striking distance. 4 seconds of 4 laps to go. Oh, Torgerson's spun it off the last turn there. He's sitting sideways on the start-finish line. He's going to lose a ton of time here, as Brian Helm's going to get around him.
And I think he bit early, and that's the tires are going to be really giving up now, and just that little turn, you turn the wheel a little bit too much, and you're get a little behind on the steering, and that's all it's going to take.
Here comes, here it is right now. Oh, he just too much on the gas, and just slides it there across the start-finish line. Only cost him 1 spot, though, so it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, just a little show for the fans there. Nothing to worry about.
And now Coy has gotten down to 2 seconds to Poliski. That's a battle for a top 5 position here in this race. So both these drivers want to finish in the top 5. But right now it is all Poliski. But Matt Geringer is right in front of Richie Coy, a lap down driver, and that's kind of holding Coy up a little bit here.
Yeah, it's costing him a little bit of time, but in the S's, what can you do? I mean, you can't jump offline there. You're going to go off track yourself almost.
Down underneath Geringer into this position, and Poliski in front of him locks up a little bit, and he's going to lose a ton of time through that. So now it's under a second between those two drivers.
Yeah, I think Andrews, he can hear the footsteps if he's pushing to keep in front, and a little bit of a mistake there, he's still got a lead. There's only 3 laps to go. He still can definitely hold it if he keeps his head on straight.
So Coy and Poliski, that's a second difference now. Solari still losing time, or about the same amount of time to Bobby Terrell, who has now put himself into 3rd position here. Solari is catching him just a little bit, but he's going to have to do a little bit more to catch him before the end of this race. Just feel like he might be just a little gunshot through the carousel now.
Listen, I don't blame him one bit. I mean, he ran almost basically the exact same lap time as Bobby last lap, so maybe he's content. You know, he's like, all right, I already made one mistake. I'm going to stay in 4th. But for me, it'd be tough to not try and claw forward to get that last spot on the podium there.
Yeah, and the other thing too is Richie Coy has caught Andrew Poliski through turn 7. What a job there! He is all over the back of the 96. But the other thing too is there's only a point per position, so it's I say only, but there's only do you push hard to get 1 point? I don't know. If you're going to get a top 5 either way. I mean, I'm sure he probably wants to get a podium finish, but a point's a point.
A point's a point, but then the mental aspect of saying I made a mistake. And that sucks, sure, but I went back and I passed Bobby Terrell, who's a great driver, and I got past him at the end of the race after, abusing my tires, and I still was, faster. The mental aspect is important, too, for not just this race, but, other races and, other road course races later in the season.
Coy and Poliski going at it now. They were side. Coy backs out. He is going to set up Poliski again. At the same time, we do want to just kind of let you guys know, Solari has gotten down under 3 seconds to Bobby Terrell. So he is putting some time in to Bobby Terrell, who must have went off track or something, although we didn't get a notification. But a very slow lap time out of that 5 machine. It's down to 2.5 seconds. We're focusing on this battle for the top 5. Solari's off track again. And he's off track in the same spot, Nick.
Yeah, the same spot again. Man, I hope he's not listening. You know what I was saying? He's got to get up there and get that spot. It's so tough. The end of he stopped that 1 lap early, and maybe it's coming back to bite him now.
Probably pressed a little bit too hard through that middle sector, but that's going to end the battle on Poliski, and just can't get the run. He's basically the same spot he was before as Chandler goes across the start-finish line to take the white flag.
And he can, with a 24 second lead, basically, he can taste it already. He could almost coast it down from here.
Coy still battling hard, though. Solari is only 2 seconds ahead of this group. Up front, Jeff Chandler, he is working his way through the carousel. Give this man his due. He's led start to finish. Will not get the fastest lap of the race unless he puts one out here. That's going to go to Richie Coy. But what a race. And Gehringer's crashed. Let's see what happened to Matt here. Oh, no, he's fine. That was a false positive there. And Jeff Chandler working his way down the drag strip now into turn 7.
He almost gets a victory lap on the white flag lap here.
Chandler going for his 3rd win and his 2nd win on a road course. And for a guy that said he doesn't like road courses or he's not good at road courses, and he is having a whale of a night here tonight. He didn't get it easy. Tony Solari was all over him. And Jeff Chandler going to take this victory here. I think even now, if he spun off, I think he would still be able to get it going again in front. Oh, Richie Coy's off track. And that's all he's massively off track. Richie Coy has lost a ton of time.
He was right on Andrew, man. I'm sure he was pushing as hard as he could, and those tires, they screamed enough.
Checker flag is out. Jeff Chandler is going to come off the final turn, and the 31 is going to grab his 3rd victory of the season. Go give it to Jeff Chandler. Lane Allen quite a ways back in 2nd position. We'll get a look in on what happened to Richie Coy once everybody has crossed this line. Here comes Lane Allen. Haven't talked a lot about Lane, but a great runner-up finish here tonight for the 14 machine.
From what it looks like, Lane ran his own race, and look where he ended up. He started 4th, I believe, and he picked up a couple spots. And to get a 2nd place after, basically racing the track, great job by him.
And here comes Bobby Terrell, who's going to grab the last step on the podium and get that position. Andrew Poliski all over the back of Tony Solari, but Tony Solari going to recover, grab 4th place. Might be a little bit disappointed for that finish, but still a solid effort for that driver tonight. And Polisky's going to grab the final top 5. Mike Watts is going to get around Richie Coy here on the last lap and grab 6th. Richie Coy will get 7th place. Torgeson is going to hold off Brian Helm for 8th right now.
Yeah, and Richie Coy from the back of the grid to 7th, that's still amazing, but what might have been for him, he, without those couple mistakes, he may be a podium, but still 7th place, or that's a great finish for him from the back. Rupert
gets 10th. Benedict gets 11th. Flanagan's already finished because he was lapped down in 12th. Winter 13th. Schultz 14th, and Chad Lang recovers for a top 15 finish after starting in 35th tonight. Rachel Hunt 16th. Rory Collins with a great run in 17th position here tonight for him. And we got TJ Bartel salvaging a top 20 finish for him after struggling a lot at the beginning of that race. A good run for him. For another driver that said he doesn't like road courses that much, 18th. Grossi 19th, and Gary Griffith will grab your final top 20 position, Nick. What a race for Jeff Chandler, though.
You can't, I can't say enough good things. He looked in control from the green flag, and Tony made him work for it. But in the end, I don't think anybody had anything for him.
What a race it was for Jeff Chandler. Well, we're going to hear from him and all your top 3 finishers. But first, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll talk to our top 3 finishers. Welcome back here to Full Throttle TV, where Jeff Chandler has grabbed the victory here at Sonoma Raceway, and what a race it was. Had everything. I mean, that race had every single thing you could ask for, and it's going to shake up the championship standings quite a bit. Let's take a look at the unofficial championship standings. We already took a look at the results, and right now you see the top 5, no changes there, but Lane Allen with a great second-place run. He's going to jump to 6th, jumping ahead of Bernard Person and Jeff Winter. Spear and McCanny stays the same in 9th and 10th. Grossi moves ahead of Dean Doucette into 11th. And then we had several drivers move up one spot because Ronnie Royal's been out. Poliski moving up to 18th. Big run for him. And then on the back half of that top 25, that's where it gets crucial as Jeff Chandler looks like he's back inside the top 25. Solari moves up 4 spots to 29th. And that's going to be huge going forward here as the season continues to dwindle down, Nick.
Yeah, Solari, that top 5 puts him in a good spot. In the points, trending back upwards, 4-spot jump. That's big.
Exactly right. So let's hear from our drivers here tonight, and let's start with our third place man, Bobby Terrell. Bobby, you did it again. Another podium finish here tonight at Sonoma Raceway.
Yeah, sometimes you get lucky,
Yeah, talk about your race. I mean, you were kind of, I think, a little bit lonely out there for a little bit of the time, but you did have some battling with your teammate Mike Watts, and you had some battling with Lane Allen, and not to mention you had the battle with the track. We all know how treacherous it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was sections that I was a little faster, when Lane was behind me, and there were sections he was faster. So we were kind of even out, Mike too. And I just knew that if I just took care of my stuff, hit my marks, that I would come away with a good finish, and it paid off.
Yeah, and you had a great run. You look like you were going to finish in 4th place tonight. Tony Solari gets off track, and then you grab a podium finish. But that's huge going forward in the points as well, because you have now a bigger advantage over Case McMullen now in the points.
Well, that's good, have a points lead. There's nothing wrong with that. Gives you a little bit to play with, I guess. But yeah, Tony, I didn't see where he ran off the track, and like I said, I was gifted 3rd. I'll take it. I don't think I ran off the track any, so. But I didn't see where he ran off. They were telling me where he ran off, and I didn't see where he ran. I just seen with 4 laps to go that I had moved up to 3rd, I think it was.
Yeah, he went off in the carousel there and dropped a spot there. But Bobby, you definitely earned it. You're looking ahead. You've been very good in all the series, trucks, Xfinity. It doesn't matter. You're in the top 3 in every series right now. But Sonoma is a track that you only race in the Cup Series. Talk about how physical it was to drive this track. I know when I ran some laps the other night, it was very tiring to do the laps there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in fairly good shape, so I wasn't getting tired or anything. I was fine. So just ride my bicycle a lot, so. It just, I wasn't tired at all. If we could have went another 20 laps, I could have.
I shouldn't say I was tired. I should say I was sweating, because I definitely was sweating after running some laps here. But Bobby, great run for you. Looking ahead, you got the All-Star race next week. You're already in that. Are you excited about the next-gen cars that are going to be out there for the All-Star event?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they do, and how they, just how they feel and how they handle, and just like all of us, I'm interested to see how they do.
All right, Bobby. Well, congratulations on that 3rd place finish, bud. And I'm going to turn it over to you and let you have the last word.
Thank you, Jared. Yeah, I'd like to thank Full Throttle Sim Race and all the admins for everything they do. You guys up in the booth for the broadcast that y'all do. It's excellent. And shout out to my teammates, for helping me as much as they have, the setup, etc., pitting. Darkmatter Designs for sponsoring the series. If it wasn't for them, we couldn't do it. And that's it.
All right, Nick, that was our 3rd place finisher, Bobby Terrell, tonight. And I believe you're standing down on pit road with our runner-up, Lane Allen.
Yeah, I'm down here with Lane after a big 2nd place finish. Lane, how you feeling after that long race?
Wore
out. Nobody could blame you for that. So you start 4th, great qualifying, and you finish 2nd there. That's That's big for your points. I saw you were up there towards the top. Were you racing for the points? Were you trying to go all out for maybe a win? Did you have anything for Jeff there?
I don't know. I kind of was there on Bobby just about the whole time. I really couldn't get by him.
Yeah, I saw you guys were racing pretty close there, all three of you, and looked like you almost split the race almost exactly in half with the pit strategy. Was that planned from before the race, or were you kind of playing it by ear as it went?
Yes, I was planning on coming in at halfway, but went on in thought I might be able to get by Bobby if I went in a lap before him, possibly.
Yeah, and even looks like you were with the fresher tires there at the end. You had a little bit more speed than the guys that came in before you, so you got to undercut on the guys around you, and you got to overcut on the guys around you too. So that's cool. Are you excited next week for the All-Star Open?
Oh yeah, that ought to be good.
Yeah, I heard Jared just talking to Bobby there about it's going to be the next gen car. How do you feel about that?
Ain't nothing to it but do it, I reckon.
Well, I wish you good luck, and I'll let you have the last word here if you want to give any shout outs.
Yeah, thanks, Steve Berry Racing, everybody on the team, and FTSR, best place to race.
All right, congratulations, Lane, on a big second place there.
Thanks. Now.
All right, that was our second place finisher here tonight, Lane Allen. And I am down here in Victory Lane, grabbing another road course win. It's not Oscar, it's Jeff Chandler. Good win here tonight, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Jared. Man, what a race. I'm wore out. I'm just like wore out.
You know, it's funny. I asked Bobby if he was wore out. He said, no, I'm in good physical condition. If we could do 20 more laps, I would be fine with it. Could you do 20 more laps, Jeff?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's mentally, physically, you're not. I mean, mentally, I'm just kind of spent because I was watching Tony the whole time. And, it's like I told him, it was like a little decal of your car in my rearview mirror. It just never left. And then all of a sudden he was gone right there at the end. And I hated it for him. But it's just mentally draining trying to stay on the track. And that's the biggest obstacle at Sonoma.
No, that's talk about Sonoma a little bit. It's not like a lot of road courses that we race on really in any series. It doesn't matter what you race here at Sonoma. There's not a lot of breaks up this track. I mean, you're on the gas, shifting, on the gas, shifting. You don't have a second to kind of to relax for a second. And how much did that impact you going into this race?
Oh, a lot. It was. I was stressed pretty good because, like I said, my races really have to count since I miss every other one, and I knew I had to do good at this. I knew I had to win it. I mean, to even have a remote chance of making the playoffs, which I can't imagine being able to do it. But I practiced a lot. But I'll tell you, I went after the practice we had last night. I got off, went and sat down at my desk and was just kind of messing around online. And I'm like, there's just something I'm missing. And I came back and got on the practice server. And what I found made all the difference in the world. It gave me some, I was at ease when I got into the server today. I felt like I was going to be tough to beat. And, as far as if I could get out front, I felt like I could maintain that. Just what I found last night. And sure glad I got back up and figured it out.
Well, Jeff, you didn't have it easy. Tony Solari was behind you the whole race, within about 2 to 3 seconds all race long. He tried the undercut on you, and you came out just ahead of him, and you kind of locked the brakes up and had a little bit of a battle there for a second. But talk about how much pressure he was putting on you through the race.
Oh, he was there. I mean, it was like I said, if I don't make any mistakes, I think I'll be okay. But if I make one mistake, he'll be gone. And he up to that point, I don't believe he had made a mistake up until he got off the track. And it does put pressure on you, but it also, you really can't look in your rearview mirror that much. There's just really no time. You can glance, but every corner is a challenge. Every time you touch the throttle, it's a challenge. Every time you brake, so it's really, it almost distracts you from who's behind you.
Well, Jeff, I gotta say, man, for a guy that I talked to you at Circuit of the Americas, your last race you ran actually, and you're like, road courses aren't really my thing. I mean, you're definitely making it your thing, whether you want to or not.
Yeah, and I think that's just this, I have to just because of my work schedule and man, and it was like I was telling the guys in there, I've missed all the tracks that I really feel like I'm really good at, Atlanta and Charlotte and places like that. Dover, I mean, I kind of had a misfortune there, but it was just like all these tracks. So I have to embrace these ones that I can make. Like my next one, I think is Kentucky, which I love Kentucky. But then after that, it's Road America. So I'm going to work on that.
Yeah, and so Jeff, real quick, are you going to be able to be at the All-Star race next weekend?
Nope, I work Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night.
Gotcha. Well, unfortunately, we're going to miss you out there. I would love to see what you could do in that next-gen car. But looking ahead for you, Kentucky coming up, you said briefly that was a track you're looking forward to. Kentucky still on the schedule as far as we know. I did hear a rumor that National Super Speedway is coming out, so who knows if that's going to influence anything there. But are you excited about Kentucky?
Oh, yeah, I've already been working on the set, and we have a pretty solid base. And, we'll be ready. I think we'll be competitive, but I know one thing: you can't underestimate any of these guys in the league. FTSR just brings it every week. I mean, these road courses are just it could be anybody's race, but the ovals and stuff, man, it's anybody's game.
Well, for sure, Jeff. Well, congratulations again. Unofficially, 6 points out of the top 25, but you do have those 3 victories. And hopefully, man, it'd be great to see you in the playoffs. I think you could really make some stuff happen for you, man. But again, great race for you. I'm going to turn it over to you, let you have the last word. And again, congratulations on your 3rd win.
Well, we definitely appreciate you and Nick. I mean, like I said, the broadcasts are a lot of fun to watch, whether you win or lose. It doesn't matter. They're just a blast to watch. You gain a lot of knowledge on it. But I'd like to thank Abruzzi, definitely Frontline Esports. It's a new team I'm on, and they're just a fantastic group. I'm just tickled to death to be there. And definitely thank FTSR for just a fabulous league.
All right, Nick. That was Jeff Chandler with another great performance out of road course, leading start to finish, flag to flag, getting his 3rd win of the year. What a run for Jeff.
Man, I heard him in that interview say that he doesn't consider road courses tracks he's good at. Man, I'd hate to see how good he can be at the tracks he thinks he's good at, man.
Yeah, he is a extremely good driver, very talented, and we're lucky to have him in the league. But Nick, I got to say, man, great job tonight, bud. I'm very thankful for you to be in the booth tonight. Great to work with you and lend your road racing expertise to the commentating tonight.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a great race. I mean, these guys were battling everywhere, and the battle at the front, it almost looked like the sports car race from Saturday.
Yeah, it did. A very, very awesome racing there and a very awesome race tonight. But that's going to do it here from Sonoma. Coming up on Full Throttle TV this week, the Full Throttle Sim Racing will be back on Wednesday night. They're going to have the Truck Series. They're going to be at Texas. That's a points-paying race, so that's not an all-star event for them. So that's a big points night for the Truck Series guys on Wednesday night. And then Saturday night, we actually have the All-Star Open going to be on Full Throttle TV. You don't want to miss that. These guys are going to be racing the next-gen Cup cars in a one-off for the All-Star event. And then on Monday night, we're going to be having the All-Star event from Texas Motor Speedway. Can't wait to have that. And we're going to have all kinds of stuff to talk about that night. But for Nick DeCesare joining me in the booth on late notice, again, we appreciate it here. And then for Jared Carr, we will see you guys out on the track. Have a great night.